Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, so it is a lot going on today, chat, on social media. So if you guys do not know, Cardi B and the Department of Homeland Security, they're going back and forth on social media. They just got into it. One of Nick Cannon's baby's mothers, she's out here doing interviews. Abby De La Rosa, she's talking about how ego is playing a part in his harem and that all these women can't really come together because, you know, they all feel away. So we're going to get into that. And then last but not least, Kandi's out here putting Todd on blast. She says Todd has turned into a certified squatter. You can't make this shit up. Surprise? No, but you still can't make this shit up. So let's go ahead and start with the first story with Cardi B. So if you guys do not know, Cardi B's tour started yesterday. So during the tour, while she was performing, she said, F ice. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the video right now.
Bitch, if ice come in here, we're going to jump their asses. Bitch, I got some bear mace in the back.
Bear
mace. They took my fans, bitch. Let's go.
So the Department of Homeland Security says this: as long as she doesn't drug or rob our agent, we'll consider that an improvement over her past behavior. So that went viral all over Twitter earlier today. But then Cardi B ended up clapping back on their asses, and this is what she had to say. She said, if we're going to talk about drugs, let's talk about Epstein and friends drugging underage girls to rape them. Why y'all don't want to talk about the Epstein files? So she let their asses know, like, okay, y'all want to bring up some old shit? Let's go ahead and talk about this new stuff. And that's what I found funny in all of these conversations that I've been saying for the past few weeks. Just like they were mad at the Bad Bunny situation. They want that investigated. They didn't like the fact that he was gyrating his hips, you know what I'm saying, during the Super Bowl. But yet and still, we got Pam Bondi making all these excuses. Y'all all saw the videos that went viral yesterday. Pam Bondi was literally losing her shit. Why are these people not doing what they're supposed to do, which is investigate the Epstein files? They're doing everything but that. They're online clapping at Cardi. They're talking shit about Benito. But yet and still, they're not worried about them Epstein files. I wonder why.
This is pathetic. This is pathetic, Mr. Chair. Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude that the president, in fact, did know about his ties because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
this
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic.
beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee will
Chair.
be in order.
I am not asking trick questions here. The
You got your
American
5
people
minutes.
have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell.
Clock
This is
it.
pathetic.
Beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic.
The shade. She said, my apologies, I couldn't tell. Okay? There was so much drama that went on yesterday. I'm going to show y'all a few more clips.
To the survivors, this is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility. Will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't
It is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she ask
question.
Merrick Garland this?
I'm
twice when
reclaiming
he
my
sat in my
time, and
chair?
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the
my
gentlelady's
time.
reclaimed
I'm
her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
Her Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, who, by the way, I should remind everybody, is the guy that went to Ghislaine Maxwell, interviewed her on his own, and then facilitated the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was absolutely a co-conspirator, one of the top most horrific individuals in this whole sex trafficking scheme, he transferred her to a minimum security prison. He is the one who said that there's nothing in here to prosecute. You can't prosecute somebody just for partying with Epstein. That is not what is in the files. These were rich, powerful, wealthy people, mostly men, who groomed, raped, abused, manipulated young girls.
Now you got Ghislaine chilling in prison, in a minimum security prison, with a puppy and a damn umbrella. Make it make sense.
I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, "this is a good one." Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from gentleman from Kansas, the attorney.
So I played that to show y'all that we are literally living in the upside down world. When you have the Department of Homeland Security arguing with a rapper on Twitter, as opposed to doing their job and going after those in the Epstein files. So I'm glad Cardi B clapped back. A lot of people are going in right now on Twitter, back and forth, talking about the situation. So now in other news, we're going to go ahead and move on to Nick Cannon and one of his many baby mothers. Her name is Abby De La Rosa, and she is speaking on her relationship with Nick Cannon and the other mothers of the children. So we're going to go ahead and watch her video. It's currently viral all over social media.
Ego plays a huge part. Men have ego, women have ego, especially when it comes to kids. We're like, no, you got me up. You're not going to be around my kids. You're not going to be this. And granted, I've had those situations already happen, but we want what's for the bigger picture. And when you see the kids all together, which I've been very, very blessed to experience that numerous of times, it really is like, okay, my ego can't win in this. They deserve to know each other. They deserve to get to know each other. So, you know, it could be you forever, but can the kids play? Can we have a healthy dynamic where we don't have to communicate? But this is a really beautiful family dynamic. Now,
objection. She's talking with a forked tongue, because let's keep it real. If this was such a beautiful family dynamic and, you know, can we just let the kids play? Why would there be any ego? Why would there be any fuck yous? Why would the mothers be over here and he has to facilitate all of the meetings? You know what I'm saying? Because the mothers don't talk to each other. So she's trying to talk like this is a cool thing and, you know, I love my life and my life is perfect, you know, and we just need to put our ego aside. But if everything was perfect, everything was copacetic, if everything was smooth, there would be no ego. There'd be no feelings. Y'all would be able to call each other up and say, hey, let's get the siblings together, regardless if Nick is there or not. they should be able to come together and bring those children together. That's what lets you know that all these kids were created based on ego. I want to be his first and last baby mama. I'm prettier. It was based on a bunch of nonsense. And unfortunately, these kids have to suffer for the actions of a bunch of adult clowns. Let's go ahead and finish listening to what else she got to say.
Now, as for the mothers, don't know. We don't have any communication with each other. Like, we all live very separate lives. We're all very individualized.
Objection. But again, like I said, if everything is clean in the buttermilk, why don't y'all communicate? Y'all all share the same dick. Y'all all share the same baby daddy. So what is the problem? See, and that's what I've been trying to get a lot of young girls to realize over the years, because they try to put this out there like this was the way to be. As long as a man has money, it doesn't matter if you're the first baby mama or the fifth, it does matter. And Nick Cannon can only be in one place at one time. He's only one person. And see, a lot of them are getting the short end of the stick. Hence why they keep doing these interviews and throwing shade and, letting it be known that they don't talk and they don't hang out. And, it's just them and Nick. But that's not how it should be, because he tried to put it out there like it was some type of polygamy thing. Like they were all cool with it, like he was the man. But now as the years have gone on, we're seeing that this is not anything with polygamy. This is nothing more than a man who can't control his peen, okay? Let's continue.
There's never no, let's have family gatherings and Sunday dinners and things. It's just like Nick calls the shot. Hey, can I bring the kids over? Hey, can they have a play date on this date? And we agree, or we'll send the nannies to do it. And that's really it. We all live very individual lives.
So why isn't there cordialness between you and I?
Girl, ego. I'm trying to tell you, it's ego. It's different. It's like when Nick is here, Nick is the father of my kids. And it's like, babe, we all have the same father of the same kids. Like, it's very much ego driven, but eventually everyone will get over it, and maybe one day. But I've already tried it. I've tried the whole kumbaya thing. I've tried the whole sisterhood of the traveling pants thing. It just doesn't work, and that's okay. That's okay. Now I mind my business. I stay to my family, stay to my dynamics. Can the kids play? Yes. Can they not? Cool. We move on. We move forward. But this is a life thing. So there's no way. Y'all just got to get over whatever you guys got to get over. Get therapy, get the help you need. Because at the end of the day, that's 12 children's father that he wants all his kids to get together and be with. And that's just the facts.
Mm-hmm. And nobody stumbled and tripped and fell into the situation.
Nobody. Everybody made mindful decisions and mindful choices, and nobody was, what's the word I'm looking for? Blindsided by this. If you do your homework, Nick has been talking about wanting 12 kids since the beginning of time. In my radio career, Nick has always been, the word playboy, he's just always been who he is.
I believe that your nervous system is regulated to do well in this scenario. Mm-hmm. But I guess the reflection here is maybe everybody else who said yes to this wasn't really about this life.
I think in hindsight, it sounds cool, but then when you actually get in the grit of it and you see what you see, or you'll see him on trips, or you'll see real family dynamics happening, it really triggers you, and it really can get under your skin.
Does it trigger you?
It has, absolutely. Absolutely, it has.
Objection. I can respect her honesty right here when she's saying that it has triggered her, and that's what I was saying even with the Cardi B situation. The other day when I went live. Everything looks fun on the outside. Everything's cute when you're pregnant because the baby's inside of you. But then when that man can't be there for the baby's first Christmas, you're going to feel away when he's spending Christmas with his other children. A lot of them fell into this head first with this delusion that somehow they were going to be the favorited baby's mother, their child would be favorited, and they're finding out that they all got the same man at the end of the day. These decisions were made solely about themselves. These decisions were not made keeping in mind that these children were living, breathing human beings who had to grow up in this dysfunction. And this is dysfunction. I don't care if they have a whole bunch of money or not. At the end of the day, this is a broken home. He's created several broken homes because he's not there from sun up to sundown. He's not there when those kids go to bed. He's not there when most of those kids wake up. So these are broken homes. Let's continue.
And Nick and I have grown into love. It's not like we fell in love and it was like take my hand, let's ride into the sunset and, you know, unicorns and you're my twin flame in this. Like, no, we've genuinely grown into love. We've genuinely learned communication style, friendship style, parenting style. And when you have kids, it just amplifies everything. And not only do we share kids, but we have a child with special needs. So that takes everything up a whole other notch. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because you can have and experience those feelings of jealousy, but above all else, there should be, again, the understanding that I said yes to this. So it's interesting to kind of hear that other people are not on board with the community aspect of it, because what else were you expecting?
What else were you expecting? Like, there has never just been one person in this, so it's really interesting. There's been one person as a wife, yes, absolutely, and we'll always respect that. Hello. But there's never been one person in this, and I just want to reiterate that nobody's been blindsided. Nick has always been very honest. Maybe not fully, but the truth has always been there. And if you study and you learn people's patterns and you learn people's truths, they always say what they mean. And Nick is I say what I mean and I do as I say, and that's just who he's always been. So it's not like he's been like, it's just gonna be me and you forever, babe. It's been like, I love you, see you later, and then you look on Instagram and he's with somebody else and this and that. But he's created such beautiful family dynamics. I just think for women it's really hard when you see that the person you were just hugged up on one day is hugged up in the same way with the whole other person. You know, it's not easy. It really isn't. But yeah.
All right, so y'all just heard from Abby. And let me say this. For years, I have been condemning this foolishness, and I was called a hater. I was told I was jealous. I was broke, and some more shit, okay? But now we're seeing the cracks in the foundations because, again, they tried to make this in the guise of something new, you know what I'm saying, unconventional, modern. There's nothing new under the sun. What he's doing is not new. People have been doing stuff like this since the Bible days, okay? But the problem is these women didn't have to put themselves in this situation because they all had their own little things going on. Whereas, you know, back in the day, a lot of women had to depend on men for their survival. So they had no choice if their husband wanted to bring on a second, third, fourth wife, a concubine, and some more shit. There was really nothing they could do. So for them to purposely, willfully go into these situations and then now complain is very comical to me. And what's sad is that many people on social media glamorized this, excused it, thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But these women are starting to see the difference between concept and lived reality. And this is what's happening in a lot of these situations, not just with Nick Cannon, but also with the Stefan Diggs situation as well. On the internet, everything looks really cool, looks coordinated. You see the baby shower announcements and the baby bump photo shoots and, oh, Nick has another one coming. Stefan Diggs has another baby on the way. But in reality, it's not like that whatsoever. Parenting is presence, consistency, and emotional availability. And it's hard to do that when you're one person, okay? And you have 12 children by several different women. Like I've always said, you can only be in one place at a time. So this situation is not good for anybody, especially the children. They try to glamorize this like this was the most popping thing, but now logistically, it's not working out. Why? Because there's only 24 hours in a day. And no matter how wealthy Nick Cannon is, no matter how organized the baby mamas try to be, emotional connection and being there for your children cannot be multiplied endlessly, okay? You might be able to be there for these set of kids, but these other set of kids are going to miss out. And you're only one person. And then I think Nick is sick. He's dealing with a lot of health issues. So that might be playing a role as to why he can't be there all the time for these kids. These are things you need to think about before you get into these crazy situations. And I get that families look different. But this wasn't hating, this was common sense. This lifestyle was never going to be sustainable. And the problem is now that these children are getting older, these women are having to rectify and basically confront their emotions about a situation that they themselves chose to get into. When these babies are small and it's gaga goo goo and they can't move, it's cute when all they're drinking is formula. But now as these kids get older and they're getting into sports and activities, and they look up in the stands and they only see their mother or their mother's side of the family because the father has to work to pay for all these kids, or the father can't be there. Between the missed birthdays, the divided milestones, and the fact that Nick Cannon cannot always be there, it stops being cute and it starts becoming personal. And this is where the ego comes in at. This is where they start feeling away because you couldn't come to my daughter's ballet recital, but you're on Instagram hugged up with your fourth baby mama. What's up with that? And then here comes the conflict and everything else. Just like at the Super Bowl, that was a perfect example. Stefan Diggs is one person. He's trying to appease all of his baby's mothers and a best friend who don't even have a kid with him. But, of course, Cardi wants to be there. She's been screaming, we're going to the Super Bowl. Then you got the other baby mama, Kiki. She want to be there as she should. She had his baby. So he's trying to accommodate all these people. But what happened is all of these adults are moving in ego. And she realized she's on the same level as all of them. And this is what's going on with Abby. I don't know all of Nick Cannon's baby mamas, but that's what's going on with them as well. They're now starting to wake up and realize they all got the same man. They're all going to get the same amount of attention. And Nick is just going to be doing him. And the parenthood part of it is mainly on them. You know, Nick is going to come through when he can. But as far as being a parent, that's going to be more or less their job. And that's what they're waking up to. This is not going to be a shared responsibility. It can't be. It's not sustainable, like I said earlier. So now let's go ahead and talk about the situation that's going down with Kandi and Todd. This has gone viral as well today on social media. So TMZ is reporting Kandi Burus slams Todd Tucker as a guest house squatter. So let's go ahead and read this article. Kandi Burus says her estranged husband, Todd Tucker, is living rent-free in her guest home amid their bitter divorce and is not paying a dime in rent. According to new documents obtained by TMZ, the Real House alumni slammed Todd for not contributing financially to the home as they continue to fight over custody and support. Now, what's crazy, this was at Tiny's birthday party. I was there. I got my little picture in front of the little T.I. Tiny Harris car. So that's sad. This was just in July. And now they're not even together. Then they go on to say this. Kandi says since they separated, Todd's been living in her guest house in Atlanta, which she says is her own property purchased before the marriage. In the doc, she says Todd hasn't paid a single expense for the maintenance or the upkeep of the home, to include utilities, gas, lawn care, water, pest control, or even fees associated with the alarm system. On top of that, Kandi says Todd hasn't provided any support for the home where their two kids, Ace and Blaze, live. She says she is a traditional caregiver for the kids, despite her active professional life as an entertainer and reality star. She says a hired nanny picks up most of the rest of the slack, despite his claims on social media that he's an active father. In her filing, Kandi claims that her kids have had 2 birthdays since she filed for divorce in November. She says Todd attended their separate parties but refused to contribute to the cost. She also claims he hasn't helped her out with tuition fees or school supplies and hasn't kicked in for child support. Kandi admits she's been out of town in New York working on Broadway since November 2025, where she'll remain until March. But she says despite her work commitments, she's been flying back and forth to see the kids. Kandi is asking the judge to order Todd to pay child support and share in expenses for these kids. She's also asking the judge to issue an order laying out parenting time for each. We reached out to Todd's lawyer. So far, no word back. So it is a lot going on in Kandi's world, and I feel bad for her. I think that Todd is definitely taking advantage of the situation. Let's not forget, if you guys go back and watch my previous videos that I've talked about this topic, there was a prenup in place, right? And what I'm seeing kind of happen is this. Todd is basically using her strategy against her. Remember, during the episode of The Real Housewives, when they brought in the prenup to him, Todd is saying he only had 4 hours to go over it before they walked down the aisle.
Look, I'm just letting you know, they have suggested that we call our wedding off.
It's kind of like either you sign it or I don't want to marry you. That's not fair. Let's talk.
I'm asking you to talk. I'm asking you to tell me what is it that you wanted to say.
I wanted to become a proper document. He said that.
How is it not a proper document, Todd?
I'm not the attorney. Let's call the attorney. Let's call the attorney and let him talk.
Call him right now, please. I want him to tell me what is not proper.
Come on, let's go.
Please call him.
We're going back and forth arguing before we're supposed to get married.
Exactly, because we're not going to get married if we don't have no prenup. And we sit up here arguing about that I don't even understand why we're arguing, because if you work, I work, so I'm not understanding what is it that we're debating here.
We'll speak to the lawyer.
You ain't even telling me what it is that you feel like should be here, because when I look at his notes, he's talking about you doing all this work for me, and it's like you ain't worked on that for me, but stuff that you're also getting a percentage of. So it's not like you just working for me.
I don't think that Todd told his attorney everything about our business arrangement, because for some reason he's under the impression that Todd was some intern of mine on the musical that we did together. Any profits from A Mother's Love, we split 50-50.
Hi, this is Randy. I'm sorry I can't take your call. Leave a message.
Hey Stevie, I'm sitting here with Todd. Do you mind if I put you on speakerphone? Okay, he wanted you guys to call his attorney, but why didn't you call him today?
Because I guess it didn't seem like it was necessary. I mean, what I read in the comments was that he didn't have enough time to advise Todd about the agreement.
My thing was like, why not just reach out to him and let's figure something out? Like, we're getting married tomorrow. We need to figure this out.
Todd, the only point that I saw that wasn't just sort of general was what he said in his email, which was, let's say you got sick, or let's say you became disabled, and so Kandi's like, oh, I don't want you around anymore. You don't get anything. And that's true.
If I were to get sick, just get out. It seemed like the document was just so business. It felt like Kandi hadn't even really reviewed it. I'll give Randy a call. I just want to talk through all of his concerns. And, you know, it'll be best if it was
available if he calls it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll call you back.
Okay, bye.
You got what you got and I got.
No, there's other things in there. There's other things in there. If we don't work out, I gotta get out the damn house in 30 days? How do I find a house in 30 days?
You got what you got and I got.
No, there's other things in there. There's other things in there. If we don't work out, I gotta get out the damn house in 30 days? How do I find a house in 30 days?
Relationship, when y'all broke up, did you just keep living together? Like,
no, but if I need some time to find a place, if we have a child.
And so he's saying that that was under duress. It wasn't fair. And my thing is, I think they were both so busy trying to put on a production for the show. The prenup should not have been handled that way. And I think that's where Kandi messed up as well. That prenup should have been given to him weeks in advance. Let him go over it, talk to his lawyers, agree with all of the terms, so that way there's no room for error. Because now he's coming back and he's trying to hold this prenup over Kandi's head and say that he was under duress when he signed it. It wasn't fair. And now he's trying to punish her by living in her home and not paying any of the bills. It's going to be a thorn in her side. The fact that he's living in the guest house, and the guest house is huge. It ain't like it's a small room upstairs. I mean, it's a whole nother property, because she had those two homes attached to each other. So the guest house is huge, but you're not going to be living in my guest house while you got a side chick named Helen. That's what Funky said. Okay, Funky didn't even put that out there. That Todd has been cheating with some lady named Helen.
But since I got this red cup and the girl from yesterday said she wanted me to be more messy, here it is. He was entertaining other women and the bitch name was Helen.
So you're not about to be in my house not paying no bills, not paying the lights, utilities, not helping out. Like, that's insane. But I also have to put some of the blame on Kandi as well. Because Kandi wanted that man up under her so bad. Instead of making him go out there and go do something outside of her brand. It's like he couldn't do anything like that. She had to be on top of him and keep him, with a tight leash. And maybe that's because, he was cheating or something. I don't know. But it's just disgusting that he's just basically at this point using her, and he knows there's nothing that can be done. Instead of him being an adult and going back to his apartment in New York, the one that he did own, that condo, why don't he go back out there and then fly in when he can to come see the kids, or go get an apartment in Atlanta? Why still live in her property if you're not going to help pay for anything? If he was to move out on his own, he'd have to pay the lights. He'd have to pay the water. So it's really sad, like, just how bad their relationship has gotten, as far as, like, you know, them trying to be cordial with each other and, you know, be there for the kids. It seems like it's definitely just gone downhill over the past few months. So the sad part is I know Mama Joyce is somewhere sitting down sipping tea, saying, "I told you so." Hopefully they'll get it figured out in court. Hopefully he'll be eventually told to move up out the house and go get his own. But we'll have to see. So tea sippers, I leave the conversation up to you guys. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. I look forward to reading y'all's comments. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share this video. And I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.